Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Trek YT here, or Nick, back with another brand new video, guys. And today I have built the TheStradman's Lamborghini Gallardo in Minecraft. So you guys may be wondering, okay, who is the Stradman? Or maybe you do know who he is. I hope you do know who he is. He's actually one of my favorite YouTubers to watch on YouTube. Oddly enough, it's funny that, like, of the YouTubers that I actually consume their content, it has nothing to do with the content that I actually post on YouTube. It's like a polar opposite. Like, I play a lot of Minecraft, build a lot of Minecraft stuff, but I watch a lot of, like, car related people and just like stuff that's not very Minecraft related. So I thought I would go ahead and cross those two universes, stuff that I actually build and create versus stuff that I watch and consume, and make kind of the best of the both worlds. So what I have created is this Lamborghini Gallardo in Minecraft. And you're probably wondering, wow, Nick, this thing is massive. How in the heck did you build this? And I guess that's gonna go along with today's theme of today's video, is how you kind of go ahead and build things like this. It's not gonna be a step-for-step tutorial, more or less going to be like tips on how you go ahead and build realistic things to the best of your ability, and some tips and tricks that you can use to make things a little bit quicker. And at the end of the day, it also does come down to your own creativity and your own skill with building, but there's definitely steps and things you can do to make it a lot easier on yourself. So first things first, the biggest and most important thing you're going to want to have to build something along these lines, or something big and large and massive in Minecraft, is going to be WorldEdit. And it's just one of those things that you have to have. I don't really have it on right now. I'm just playing with Optifine, but I do have it when I'm laying on my Forge loader. And what WorldEdit is, if you don't know what it basically is a tool within Minecraft that allows you to select regions. So I can select a point over there and select a point over there, and then set the block to something. And there's a bunch of awesome commands within WorldEdit that just make building a lot quicker. It doesn't build for you, but it does make things go a little quicker, because you can select and skip out on placing, let's say, 100 blocks. You can just copy an area of 100 and then set the block to like clay. So it just speeds things up a lot. The other thing wonderful about WorldEdit that makes building, I guess, cars and just large builds that are symmetrical is that you really only have to build half of this, and then you can go ahead and copy and paste it and flip it to the other side. So I realistically only build half of this car, and then I flipped it on the other side. That's why when you come down here and you kind of look at where I attempted to make some windshield wipers right here, they look exactly the same on each side, because typical windshield wipers wouldn't, you know, come together like this. They would typically just go one way. So I guess that's a design flaw, but to make things faster, I just built half of it and then flipped it on the other side. And only, I guess, I would notice these windshield wipers kind of hitting each other, but it just makes things go a lot quicker. Now, when it comes down to actually building something of the scale, or building a car like this, I always like to start with one spot. It can be whatever spot in your build, but for me in cars, it's the wheels. I find that the wheels are the best way to get your scale of your entire build. When building massive things, you really have to focus on the scale and kind of scaling things correctly. Like, for example, on a lot of the other builds I've done where I've built people's houses in Minecraft, where I started to build a high-rise from Call of Duty in Minecraft, it really goes down to getting the scale correct at the beginning instead of while you're building. So for example, I will build one wheel, one full wheel, and then I'll base the entire rest of the build around that. So if I'm looking at reference pictures, which is a great thing that you're gonna need to do, is you're gonna probably want some reference pictures for the build you're trying to create. I will go ahead and basically measure my actual monitor screen. Okay, this is, let's say, 1 inch on my monitor. Okay, so that translates to 20 blocks. So now everything else that's 1 inch is going to be 20 blocks long. So for example, let's say this is 20 blocks right here, and I measure on my screen that this is 1 inch, and then I measure right here and realize that this is like 4 inches on my monitor, my physical monitor in real life. Okay, that's going to be now 80 blocks. So it's just kind of getting the scale down to a perfect scale, and then it makes these things a lot easier because things are going to kind of match up. So like when you're building over here and you start to create the arcs of the wheel well, and then you get to here, that way when you go over here and connect the two, they're gonna fit seamlessly. It's just getting that scale down is very, very important. And what's funny about cars is that it's basically like building domes in Minecraft. There's so many different arcs, and what you're gonna think is, you're probably gonna think, okay, Nick, so how do you go ahead and build these curves and all these things and get them exact? it takes kind of a little while. To be honest with you, the easiest thing to do is kind of just start placing blocks randomly and kind of create a little arc and then step back and be like, okay, does that look like the shape I'm trying to get? So like what I'll do is, for example, is I'll start like, let's say right here, and I'll build this arc along this way all the way over to here, and then I'll go down one, build the arc again, and go down and go down and go down until I have a nice little shape, and I'll be like, okay, that looks okay, and then I'll go ahead and back and again and again and again. And it's a lot of working with blocks, but if you kind of get the principle of how to build, I guess, spheres in Minecraft, you can kind of build these shapes that are more irregular than other shapes in Minecraft. Another thing for large builds that I find that speeds things up and makes things a lot easier is you only worry about the outside. You don't worry about the inside. For example, where you don't need to put detail, don't do it. Like, for example, these headlights, I could have put some, I guess, detail headlight behind it. All I did was put some black glass and threw some black wool behind it because I realized, it's not that big of a deal, because when you're looking at big builds like this, it's just cool to see the massive build. No one really cares about, is there a red light bulb in the headlight or something like that. It doesn't really matter that much. I mean, yes, there's going to be people and be like, well, you didn't put all the headlights in there. It really, at the end of the day, doesn't matter because the massive scale of this build just makes it super cool. And that goes with the interior of this car. I didn't build the inside at all. There's no seats inside. It's just an empty hollow box, pretty much. And by doing that, I just went ahead and put black wool on all of the windows to give it like a really tinted effect, and it makes it so that way I can skip those steps of having to even worry about the interior, and I can kind of cover up on the inside all of the blocks that I've been placing to get to a perfect shape. And again, for skipping out on details, instead of building an engine, I just covered it up with black wool, so I didn't have to worry about that kind of detail. I really was only worrying about the shape of the build versus, I guess, worrying about the details. That's what kind of makes these bigger builds easier. I say easy in a loose term because this build took me about 2 weeks, to be honest with you. It does not take like overnight. It doesn't happen that fast. You have to work with the blocks, and in my personal life, I just don't have the time to work on things like all day, every day. So it takes me about 2 weeks of working on it every night to get to this point, and it just ends up looking so cool that it makes it worth it for me. So James or the Stradman, if you're watching this, I hope that I did your car justice. To be honest with you, this is the car that got me hooked on his channel back in the day. I don't even remember the name of the video, but I think it was like, I bought a Lamborghini Gallardo after I got fired from my job or something like that along those lines. This was one of his very first viral videos with this car, and it's what kind of got me hooked, and I've been hooked ever since, and now I follow him all the time. Now he has an event store, he just bought a new Supra, he has a Jeep. It's just, I don't know, I just like cars, and I like watching automotive YouTubers as well. The only thing that I wish I could have done in this video is I was actually going to time-lapse this. I was in the process of time-lapsing it, and I made a large selection to copy and paste something, and it crashed my Minecraft, and the majority of my time-lapse got broken. Like, it just, poof, it's gone. So I was like, well, now there's no point in time-lapsing, and if you're gonna miss a substantial chunk of the time-lapse, what's the point of time-lapsing it? So I didn't go ahead up and time-lapsing it. I wish I could. I now know, I guess, in the future that if I make large selections over 1 million blocks and copy and paste them, it'll crash my Minecraft and I'll lose the recordings of the time-lapse. But regardless, guys, I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. I hope that, it looks cool to you. I think it looks insane. That's why I build these more or less for myself, because I just think it looks cool to build something that I see in someone's YouTube videos and in their real life, and then bring it into Minecraft, into my, I guess, my domain. It's just so cool to me. But if you guys, again, did enjoy today's video, definitely show your support down below. And while you're down there, guys, might as well hit that subscribe button. But as always, guys, I love you all. See you guys next time. Peace out.